Here we go again, take two. Right, this is a lovely day we've had again, grabbing the sunshine. I hadn't posted a video for almost 2 weeks now. I did make one on Monday, but that's before I got ill, and I had been very busy with babysitting and running around and doing lots of different things, so I hadn't had a chance to do much, and I hadn't even posted that video because I'd been ill since, I've only been better for about a day or so now. But grab the sunshine while it's here and enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the fresh air and getting work done. As you can tell, things are looking a bit tidier, clearer. That's because this area that was getting very muddy, the chips had already been worn down. That soil underneath the chips was full of worms, yet it's heavy clay. So what I did was I scraped off all the wood chips that were on there, 4 inches deep and almost up to the pile there. Scraped that all off and piled it on the beds. As you can tell, it's quite nice. I mean, what I did when I cleared the beds of the old growth and the dead growth, I just stuck it on top of the bed, and then I stuck all the wood chips from the other side on there, which are now rotted so nicely that they're perfect mulch. And I'll show you now, but there is just so much mycelium in there, it's ridiculous. You couldn't move an inch of the stuff without seeing mycelium. There's still some on the surface there, look at that. I don't know if you can see that, all that mycelium. I wish I could cover that up a bit more. So yeah, beautiful mycelium everywhere in that stuff, so it's good stuff. I know it's alive, and I've put it around the hellebore, up to the wisteria. This whole section was covered. All of the sweet pea and other stuff that I took up, I piled in the usual compost pile here, which had completely rotted down flat, and then I piled all the pea stalks, the sweet pea stalks and stuff on there, and then I covered it with the wood chips again, so that will continue to rot down nicely under there. I've tidied up everywhere. There I've put some of the chips around the rhubarb as well, half the carnations, so that they're not so leggy. Things are growing. The tulips are coming up nicely there as well. Really pleased with that. Hydrangea is halved in size down to lower buds. I could go much lower than that, but underneath I wove in all the twigs and sticks and flower heads to make almost a little cavern in there. There's plenty of airflow and light can still get in there, but at least there's still shelter under there in case I can get frogs or hedgehogs or something shelter in there. The honeyberries are budding nicely, but I need to check. I haven't done anything with it. I've not pruned it or anything. I need to check what I need to do with this, because last year we had hardly any fruit whatsoever and they were absolutely tiny. So I'm wondering if I need to prune them, and if I do, what branches do I prune out? Is it the old or the new ones? So I'll check on that one, and that needs to be done. The Dorbenton's kale is still going 2 years later. Thank you so much, Becky Hill. It was one of the best plants I've ever had. I do harvest off it as I go, just like with kale. It is a kale after all. So this year I'm going to take some more of the new, see that? Even the little snails are sheltering in there. I'm going to take some of these new little elbow shoots and pop them on and see if I can get them to grow. The only foxglove I've got there, I know I need to keep an eye on that because it is quite toxic if children especially get hold of it, but it's a beautiful cottage garden flower and I like it. It's going to stay. The sweet William is still surviving at the back there. I haven't sown any new seeds, so I hope I get flowers off that this year, and I will sow more. Ooh! The goji berry is budding. Look at that. Surviving. I didn't think it was touch and go there. It's so spindly. It's the same age as the one in the back garden, which is huge. There you go. Just a berry full of bud. Look at that. Everywhere. Ready to go. This is the Nepalese cabbage, and it is ready to flower. So come the end of February into March, when most other stuff is still not flowering, and this is a cabbage, it's a soft, tender plant really. It freezes through. When it freezes solid, the leaves. You'd think it was going to die, but as it defrosts, it just bounces back. whereas most other plants that look like lettuce just wilt and die. But I love that one. Anemone's still flowering. I haven't done much this side except for trimming back red hot pokers. The daylilies over there, I am going to have to move them, because right there by the red hot pokers is perfect hiding place for slugs. And as you can tell, they've already been eating the daylilies, and they love them because of course they're edible for us. So whatever is edible for us and nice and tender, slugs love too. So that's got to move to a place where there's not so much hiding space for slugs. I don't think the lavender are going to survive. I think this soil is too woodland-like for them, and they like more Mediterranean. So I'll get more lavender, but I'll not put it in directly in the ground here. I'll put it in pots and put it in between the plants. Hawthorn is surviving nicely there. Buddleia is getting ready to start putting out far more shoots again. Let's see, what's the wisteria doing? Still got lots of buds on there ready to go. Still alive. You can feel in there, you can feel the difference between the ends that are brittle and the nice good stuff there. So that has survived. I'm so happy. Hellebores surviving, not looking very good, but they're surviving. Herb Robert, I'm keeping that here. Most people treat it as a weed, but I'm keeping it because it's a perfect insect plant and a medicinal plant. Same as with the yarrow. I love that one. The scent that even now you brush it, and even now, the scent is beautiful. So that is a perfect beneficial insect plant. This bed, as I told you when I put all the dead stuff down and then the stuff on top, just look at it. It looks great. There's a hole at least 4 inches above the path there. You can't really see it, but that's the edge of the path there. So there's a hole 4 inches above the path. So yeah, we're creating soil. This garden had none at all. And I raked this path. I raked all of the top dry stuff off, and then I raked at least 2 inches of that wood chips, same as from the drive there. I raked all of that. I dug up the big bowl sections of soil with the plants, with the muscari, the ladies bed straw, the self-heal. I put the big clumps of soil aside with the plants, and then I backfilled, because there was a big dip between the path and where the compost is, and there's a big dip. So I put the plants aside, backfilled with the good stuff that I've just raked up, put the plants back in with some extra compost, fresh compost, and watered it in, and hopefully they'll survive the transplant and the messing around, because they're wildflowers. They don't usually like messing around. But then I put fresh chips down on the path. So the paths, wood chip paths, are perfect for creating soil. Just lovely soil, and obviously the mulch that becomes the soil over time as it rots. So that has been perfect. My roses that I had for Valentine's Day, because I tell you what, I've told my husband so many times, I am so easy to please. Birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas, whatever. Compost, just buy me bags of compost. I'll be the happiest woman alive. Just put a bow on it. I'm happy, easy to please. But he said no, he's not buying compost, not for special occasions. And he knows I've told him he's never allowed to buy me cut flowers, because they're cut, they die, and that's it. Yes, they can be composted, but I told him to buy me live plants, and he has bought me live roses, 3 of them. This one is a beautiful little yellow bushing one. Doesn't get much taller than about 80 centimeters, and it'll have a load of massive yellow roses. So that one has gone in there. And this one is a rambler that'll be about 2 meters tall. So I've put it on the side of the arch with red roses. And then I've got another pink climbing one in the back garden, because I wanted a pink climbing one in the back garden. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 roses in the front garden. How's that? Rhubarb ready to pick very soon. I shall be picking a couple of stems of that soon. But it feels good. I still got to sweep off this path and tidy up, and that pot needs new soil and new plants. But I'm pleased that I was able to grab a good day. As soon as the weather's good, grab it and get stuff done. And how's this for getting fresh flowers from the garden in February? The carnations that I halved are in bud, and I can stick that in water inside and have fresh cut flowers indoors that I've grown myself. That plant comes from a shop bought pack of flowers many years ago, and people always said, oh, you can't grow carnations here, and I said, well, watch me. I stuck a small section that had a little shoot in it that was coming out, a fresh shoot. I stuck that plus another nodule into water and waited for it to take root, and it did take 3 years before it became a bush like that, but it was worth it to take it from shop bought ones. So much for people saying you can't grow carnations here. Rubbish, lots of people do, and that was from shop bought ones. So whether they were grown in this country or not, I don't care. It's growing here now. You can grow all sorts here, there was a free plant really. So I just let it do its thing. I don't mess with it much, except for now just halving it to keep it from being too leggy. But there you go. That's the garden for this week. And it's time to go inside. Well, I shall sweep this path first. Then I'll go and tidy the kitchen and get supper made. And I think that's a day well spent, and I will enjoy my supper, I will enjoy my shower, and I think I shall sleep like a log tonight. I don't know where that saying comes from, but that's it. Wherever you are, and whatever day you view this on, I hope it's a lovely one anyway, and that you make the most of it and find joy in whatever the weather may be. Have fun, lots. Bye.